So Beamer's going to Washington. And I think that, and I never thought I would look at something that Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Richard Blumenthal were working on, a bipartisan piece of legislation, and say, get behind that. I think they've got the best plan. There's some other plans out there that I kind of sounds crazy to say. I trust Ted Cruz and Blumenthal to get it done more than maybe some of the people in the House, just because Ted Cruz is a huge sports fan. He's an Aggie. So he's a diehard Texas A&M Aggie. You know, those people they know the lay of the land, so to speak. You know, you have someone, and he's highly intelligent, whether you agree with him or not. I went through a period where I couldn't stand him, just to be honest, before he ran for president. But, I think he's got, I think they've got the right plan. And Blumenthal, politically, I'm not even going to talk about it.
Yeah.
However, or his nickname. But those guys work well together on this kind of subject. It makes sense. There's some give and take. Now here's the thing. I don't think that, I think what they need to do is give the NCAA some an antitrust exemption. They do that for Major League Baseball. They've done it for almost 100 years. The other pro sports, not so much. I just think you got to go and call it what it is. Let's live in reality for a change. College sports is unique and fundamentally different and part of who we are as a country. Like it, love it, want some more of it, whatever your political persuasion is. Even if you don't like sports, it's part of the country's fabric. It's part of who we are as Americans. You do not want this to go blow up and go away. And they're speeding down the tracks of alienating what makes the sport great, which is the diehard fans that have, through generations, have, made these schools have these massive, valuable brands that fund the whole thing. Fans fund it, folks. You guys fund the thing. If it's not for you, you're going to go away. And so I think that's what they're looking for. Now this is with the House and the guy, the congressman, gosh, Phil, I don't know if you can look up his name. He's from coast of Florida. Bill, it's a funny last name. Anyway, he's a Republican, and he had a bill that he wrote with some Democrats. And I don't like that bill as much, to be honest with you. And please, for the love of God, keep Tommy Tuberville away. And that's from a Gamecock perspective, because what Tommy Tuberville wants to do is for it to go back to the old days. Where, his whole thing's the transfer portal. You can't leave. The transfer portal has elevated 4 programs in the SEC on its face. Those programs are Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Missouri, and Ole Miss. Go look at the history of those 4 programs in the Southeastern Conference. Tell me that hadn't helped Clark Lee and Shane Beamer and Eli Drinkwitz and Lane Kiffin at those schools. It has. I don't think any Gamecock wants to go back to the old days, where you don't have access to talent and other schools just squeeze you out because they're throwing everything under the sun at high school players. And then you have no chance to recoup those guys unless you go JUCO. And that's a mixed bag, as we all saw. So I don't think any Gamecock wants the transfer portal to go away. It's not that Carolina totally relies on it, but that's a key, just like I've mentioned, just like Ray Tanner and the JUCOs back when he built the baseball program, Phil. That's a way to fill a gap, that if you're missing somebody. And I'm not so sure, it's not an ongoing thing, because if you look at the 2024 class at Carolina, which I love, I have another winter outlook on Michael Smith, the tight end, up on thebigspur.com for members. I love it. I think I think not only players that have come and gone like Kyle Kennard and Rocket Sanders, but guys that they got from the freshman ranks, Dylan Stewart's, and you got Dylan Stewart, Josiah Thompson to start with. Not to mention Fred Johnson, Michael Smith. You've got Cam Pringle on the offensive line. It's a small but mighty class. high school wise.
Yeah.
And then with that class, you sit there and you go back to this portal class, Phil, and you've got 3 guys from the 2024 class: Justin Okoronkwo, Jalen Brown, and Aaron Nolan. Now, if those 3 guys had come with the 2024 class, I think a lot of people would have been even more excited. So, but anyway, so this Congress, so we don't want to go back to the Tommy Tuberville days. What I think is good for South Carolina, and I think this is good for the game, is to have some sort of revenue sharing with a cap that increases as the revenue increases, which it will.
It's I did. It's Gus Bilirakis. Bilirakis. Yeah, from Florida. He and Chairman Guthrie are putting something together. I think they're the ones heading the committee meeting, actually.
Yeah. And so Shane Beamer is going to go before the committee along with Justin Falsinelli and then some other noteworthy people. And so here's number one. I am fascinated. Number one, hats off to Shane Beamer for being involved. I mean, testifying in front of Congress is an honor, really.
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
but anytime you get national eyes on you and you're South Carolina, it's a good thing. I mean, this will continue. And because now and he should be, I think, in this conversation, because when he took over the reins of this program in 21, he showed himself to be a very adept player in the new landscape of football. So his opinion should matter a lot and should be one that is heard if they're going to try to define some of these boundaries here at the congressional level.
Yeah, because he's lived it, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's such a smart person too, that I think it's a great spokesman. It's also good, exposure. Here's, the governing body for the entire country having Shane Beamer up to talk about a critical part of the sport.
Yeah.
And so I think that's good for Carolina. I also think it's a landmine, because that's how do I explain Washington? And it's not that anybody doesn't know. That is a garbage bag full of pit vipers being dumped on your head.
Right.
Because these people will sit there and listen to it. And if you say anything that they can possibly twist into not aligning with your worldview and doctrine or ideology, they'll flat out trash you and call and accuse you of being everything under the sun. It's a landmine for a college coach, a sitting college coach. Nick Saban, when he testified, he had already retired. He didn't give a damn.
Right.
He's Nick Saban. I mean, I'm Rick James. I'm Nick Saban.
JC and Mad Dog Mully on the Gamecock Show.